These are my reel-to-reel tape machines. Okay, the tall console that you see on the right side is an old vintage Ampex AG440 4-track reel-to-reel tape machine, and it is a Class A tape machine, and it was made in 1967, and I was only 6 years old when they made it. And it's a true 4-track multi-track machine that uses 1/2 inch tape. And then the two that you see, the one on the left hand side on top of a subwoofer speaker, it is a TIAC A3440 shell sync 4-track machine. They made two different versions of that same machine. One that says multi-track series, and the other one is the shell sync version. Both exactly the same tape machine, just slightly branded. It's branded a different name. Then they right on the left hand side of the television set, you see two big reel-to-reel tape machines. The one on top is an Otari 1/2 track tape machine, fully direct drive, and is a 2-track, but it has 4 heads on it, and the 4th head is a 1/4 track tape machine. It's 2 speeds normally, 7.5 and 15 IPSs. And the TIAC and the Atari are both handle 1/4 inch tape. And then the one below the Atari machine is a 8-track, is an old 80-8 tape machine. It's an 8-track. That machine came out 1976. What makes that tape machine so popular, that same type of machine was used by the band like Boston and Kansas. They used that machine not that particular one, but the same kind, to do the demo recordings like More Than a Feeling, you know, the Boston album. And that particular machine weighs 80 pounds. Now I'm going to move the camera so you can see a better view of the reel-to-reels. Okay, that 8-track, the 80-8 is an 8-track. It has 3 heads, it's 3 motor, and it uses 1/2 inch tape. And that's a beast of a machine. Now the Atari machine, it was a popular machine because, like I said, it's a 1/2 track machine, but also plays 1/4. That I said that it was 2-speed, and that is correct. But say if you want to play tapes that will record slower than 7.5, but you have to turn the machine off, and you gotta take off the back, and there's a little micro switch in the back of the tape deck that you can rotate that switch, and it will play 3 1/4 or 7.5 tape speed. Or if you use it as a mastering deck, you're supposed to have it set on 7.5 and 15 IPS tape speed. And it's 4 head, and on the head block there is a switch that says 2 or 4 track. The Atari reel-to-reel MS 5052 machine does not record on 1/4 track. It only records on the 1/2 track, you know, the 2-track heads only. It's got some issues, like it won't start right away. I think the tape machine needs to be recapped. But all the record amplifiers work in it. It's just got that minor issue. I didn't pay that much for it, like $125 about 20 years ago. Now, I mentioned the 8-track that I said it was used by Boston and Kansas rock bands. And there's a little note of history too. This tape machine was also being used for the sound effects. I heard this. They used this tape machine to record the R2-D2 droid that they used on the first Star Wars movie that came out in 1977. That same kind of tape machine was used for that. When I bought this machine, it worked, but I mean, it worked fine on the record and the playback, but it was missing the size. It was missing a few things, but the lights were burned out. Half of the meters did not work. I dismantled all the peak lights that I had in it. So I just put the regular size meters that it took on that machine, but it's fully functional. The keypad doesn't work on the tape deck, but I have to use the remote control to operate the tape functions. You know, like play, stop and record, fast forward, rewind. And it's one of the few multi-track reel-to-reels that has a pause control. A lot of them don't have a pause control. Now I'm going to move the camera again, and